After 11 years, Devil May Cry 5 is finally upon us. We had to wait a long, grueling process, but at E3 2018, we finally got a trailer that shows that the devils we knew and loved were back. Nero, Dante, and some new character named V were all going to be playable. So yeah, I was hyped. After the forgettable reboot, we were finally returning to the classic continuity we knew and loved. So how does Devil May Cry 5 stack up? Well, we're going to start off with the story, so skip to this time in the video if you don't want to be spoiled. So to start off, it's a pretty dark, foreboding feeling as Nero walks up the steps to where Dante is, pretty much getting thrashed by Urizen, the new bad guy, and can I say that I love his design? He looks really intimidating. Lady and Trish are down, and Nero and V are forced to leave Dante behind.
Stronger and actually help. If Dante loses, you're all that can defeat Urizen. Is that what you call him? Yes. Urizen, the Demon King. That's the name of the demon that took your arm.
All in all, a pretty haunting beginning to DMC5. A few weeks later, Nero is driving with his weapons provider, Nico. Let's just say I instantly like her. She does her job well, and she's a badass in her own right. So Nero and V go to find and rescue Dante, Lady, and Trish. Nero finds Lady inside one of the creatures, but she's bare naked. I guess we're trying to make up for Dino being bare-ass in the previous game. But unfortunately, Lady doesn't get to do much after being rescued. So Nero and V head out to find Dante. Nero has another fight with Urizen, and he gets owned again. It's effective. Really, it ties into Nero's character arc in this game, not feeling like dead weight, wanting to pull his own weight. He feels guilty about what happened to Credo, and he wants to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone else. Of course, he's dealing with a personal thing because his Devilbringer arm got stolen, and Kyrie never appears in person, only appearing via voiceovers. Which is odd, because I'd be interested to see how she looks in DMC5's art style, which is different from DMC4. Of course, Nero still feels inadequate because every time he fights Urizen, he gets owned. V is... well, I figured out the twist regarding him pretty early, and it's kind of impossible to talk about him without giving it away, but he serves as a quiet character, deep, stoic, menacing, like a certain someone we all know, and he has this animal summons which he tends to treat very well. There's little hints of his true intentions, such as when he finds Dante unconscious, who has, I guess, been in a coma for all these weeks. That must have been some nap he was taking.
Only you could defeat Urizen. If only... No.
V, no.
If only you never existed. Then I...
Don't do it, V. No!
We take a bit of backstory as we finally see what happened to Dante and Virgil's mother, and it's portrayed from Dante's perspective, and it's well done. But now Dante has to go to work, and oh baby, the real, true Dante is back, and he gets to work like it's no tomorrow. When first we set up Dante as he was in DMC4 with the Rebellion Sword, it's rather symbolic that his sword is shattered. Dante rescues Trish, who again is forced to do nothing after being rescued. Really, this game is about Dante achieving his ultimate level of form. Instead of using his father's sword, he finds his own sword, and combining with it, Dante achieves his ultimate form, basically becoming a devil god, and it looks really freaking awesome. He sends Urizen packing, and now it's up to the three protagonists to team up and track down Urizen and finish him once and for all. But V is noticeably getting weaker. I'll talk more about him when we get to gameplay, but basically we find out that he is Virgil's human half, which makes Urizen his demon half. So V and Urizen are essentially the same being, just split. The story finally culminates when Dante tracks Urizen down and the battle plays out like a climactic showdown with all the bells and whistles. But when Urizen is defeated, this is not the end of the story. The main battle is about to begin, and that's where I'll stop for now. We'll continue this at the end. Let's just say this, but after going through the painfully bad dialogue of DMC, I was so happy to return to the classic continuity. Now, if only Castlevania could get unrebooted, that'd be amazing. So, for the graphics and presentation, the game is beautiful to behold, and it all runs at 60 frames per second. Forgive my capture device for capturing it at 30, but this was the last game I recorded before I upgraded to a 60 frames per second Elgato. The voice acting is again top notch. All the voices I love, Ruben Langdon, Johnny Young Bosch, Kate Higgins, they all reprise their roles and they do so wonderfully. There's even these fun little live action cutscenes that are just ridiculous. They're so tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, that's kind of the charm of the series, is it not? The music is as fantastic as ever. It's everything I want from a Devil May Cry. Energetic and it keeps your heart pumping. So now the gameplay is... well, they took what worked from DMC4 and DMC Devil May Cry and refined it to perfection. The action is so fast-paced and the levels don't outstay their welcome. No backtracking, that is such a relief. Delivering combos, dodging, it all just feels so right. After DMC, it's nice to have that Devil May Cry feel again. They learned from their mistakes, and they saw some things worth of value in DMC. The game is pretty difficult on this scale. For the first time, you can't get orbs to heal when you're in the heat of battle, so when you lose all your health, you get the option to use your red orbs to revive you, which costs more depending on how much health you want back, or you can use a gold orb to revive yourself. I only played on normal difficulty, so I don't know how difficult it gets on the higher difficulties. Nero plays very similar to how he did in DMC4, without his Devil Bringer arm. His main gimmick is that the Devil Bringer arms that Nico makes for him. These arms have a variety of purposes depending on which ones you use. To start off, you only can have up to 3 at a time, and fortunately they're all laid out throughout the levels so you can find the ones you want. My personal favorite is the one that reels your opponent in for combos like the Devil Bringer Hand of Old, and I have a fondness for the Mega Buster because, as you all know, I love Mega Man. It's nice to see Capcom on such an upswing of games. The second character, V, is not quite as good as I would have liked. His gimmick is that he has his animal buddies attack for him. The only thing he can do is dodge, and when the enemy turns white, you have to finish them off as V, though since he is the weaker half of a certain someone, it makes sense. The whole idea behind V is that you're playing from a disadvantage. Instead of summoning a Devil Trigger, he summons Nightmare, who absolutely wrecks shit up, and it's so satisfying. So V is an interesting type of character to play as, but not one that I find particularly enjoyable, if that makes any sense. It takes a while, but halfway through the game you finally get to play as Dante, and let me tell you, it is worth the wait. He plays exactly like he did in DMC4, switching between the 4 styles with the push of a button. But he loses his Rebellion Sword, and then he has to use Devil Sword Sparta for a while, and it's kind of okay. It's kind of symbolic that Dante loses his father's sword, because then he gets Devil Sword Dante. It has this very cool effect where it summons more swords to do more damage. In addition to those, he has his usual ebony and ivory guns and the shotgun, but he also gets access to the Kalina Ann, Lady's Bazooka, and he can even find her lost originals so you can do double the bazooka. So much fun, you're never getting these back, lady. He also has Dr. Faust, a hat that uses red orbs to attack, but I don't use it very often. In addition to his sword, he has the Cavalier, twin motorcycle guns that he uses as a chainsaw. That is just so freaking awesome. He also has the Balrog, which lets him fight hand to hand, and finally there's King Service, which makes Dante into Bruce Lee with him even doing the appropriate noises. But that's nothing when Dante's Sin Devil Trigger is filled. Dante becomes a god by impaling himself. In this form, Dante flies and deals double the damage. He's completely invulnerable. Of course the form doesn't last very long, but when you are in this form, nothing will stop you. This game felt like the ultimate culmination of Dante. Look how far we've come from DMC1. This game is like the perfect culmination of everything from DMC1 to now. Such a pinnacle. Nico mainly serves as a shop in this game. It's where you buy your upgrades, your orbs, and your Devil Bringers, and it serves its job nicely. To contact her within a stage, you have to find a telephone booth. Do people still use these? Yet she always finds you no matter where you are. It's really odd, but yet I find it enjoyable. Now for the bosses. There's not much to say about them. One thing they learned is don't repeat them. It works for Mega Man, but it doesn't work here. There's not much to say about them, but they're fun. There's a special gimmick to them. Sometimes you have to find the high ground, and it's pretty exhilarating. The final battle of Urizen is my favorite so far. And let's get into endgame spoilers, so the rest of the video, big spoilers, be forewarned. So V approaches Urizen's form, and Dante and Nero kind of just stay back. But something interesting happens.
Do not struggle, for if you can't even defeat me, then you've already lost.
I will not lose. Not to Dante. I need power. More power.
I know. We are one and the same, you and I. But you've lost me, and I've lost you. Yet we are connected by that one feeling. While thy branches mix with mine, and our roots together join.
What is this? Virgil.
Yep. The one, the only, the true Virgil is finally back, and it's about damn time. Once again, we see a bit of honor from Virgil.
Defeating you like this has no meaning.
Come on, Virgil. Let's do this.
Heal your wounds, Dante. Get strong. After that, we'll settle the matter.
Of course, that's not the only bombshell Dante drops on Nero.
Fight. I need to stop him, and that's all that matters.
I'm not gonna let you have all the fun, Dante.
You don't get it.
Let me guess. I'm dead weight? Well, you can
That's
shove
not
it
it,
up.
Nero.
What is it then?
He's your father!
What?
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming. So now it's up to Dante to once again stop Virgil. Virgil has become surprisingly introspective about everything that's happened.
That day, if our positions were switched, would our fates be different? Would I have your life and you mine? Let's settle this. Dante.
Of course, Dante has to fight V's summons, and they seem kind of sad about having to do it, but they don't have a choice in the matter. And even Dante kind of gives them respect as they die.
Should have known better. You got a good heart, but you're about as sharp as a marble.
Perhaps.
But if you had even a little bit of trouble defeating us, imagine what Virgil can do to you. Go see for yourself. Us. This is our final flight. And the end of Virgil's nightmares. Godspeed, Dante. You'll need it.
Rest in peace, little chicken. It's been a bash.
But now it's time for the final battle.
Hey, Virgil! Your portal opening days are over. Give me the Amato.
If you want it, then you'll have to take it. But you already knew that.
I had a feeling you'd say that.
How many times have we fought?
Hard to say. It's the only memory I have of us since we were kids. Time to finish this, Virgil. Once and for all.
Virgil is again a pretty tough beast with how far we've come in gaming technology. The way they clash blows, it's so satisfying. It's everything a battle between Dante and Virgil should be. But Nero is not satisfied. He catches up with Lady, Trish, and Nico, and he's not keen on the idea of Dante and Virgil fighting to the death, and we get good character insight from Lady.
Where's Dante?
He's got this! We gotta go now!
So this guy Virgil, you know him?
Vaguely, yes.
Dante said that guy's my father. What the hell's going on, Trish?
His logic is sound. I had a hunch myself.
This doesn't make any sense!
I know you hate Virgil, but you can't kill your own father!
It's true. You'd never recover from that. You saved us. You should be proud. Now you can put all this behind you.
Nico, stop the car!
No chance! After all this, are you insane?
Fine. I'll go by myself.
But Nero is not going to let his father and uncle duel to the death. What happens is one of the most important scenes in the entire franchise.
I couldn't protect Credo. To this day.
I hate myself for not having enough strength. But this time is different. I swear! I'm not letting you die!
Nero knocks Dante aside and fights Virgil. This feels even more like an extra fight. Nero unlocks his Devil Trigger, which is pretty awesome actually, even making fun of DMC for constantly dropping the F-bomb. So Nero beats Virgil, and Dante and Virgil decide to put aside their differences and stop the demon world, leaving Nero to take care of things for them. So Nero is left to defend the human world in their place, while Dante and Virgil have a friendly rivalry. There's definitely room to continue in the inevitable Devil May Cry 6. There's this guy who's like Rodin from Bayonetta leading Lady and Trish on a mission, but yet Capcom doesn't seem interested in making any more DLC. Yeah, we got the free Bloody Palace, yet there's been no additional information about DLC for Devil May Cry 5 despite how well it's sold. And it's very odd. Keep supporting this game, Capcom. You got a good thing going. It's the pinnacle of everything. Devil May Cry 5 is superb. I can't wait for more of our favorite devils.
Don't you dare say it! Jackpot!